Boom! The curtains ripped open, and the spotlights burning bright. Michelle Obama, America's queen of curated cool, just got her glossy image shredded by Greg Gutfeld in a takedown so savage it left her fans gasping and her PR team scrambling for damage control. This wasn't just a critique. It was a verbal Molotov cocktail lobbed at the heart of her carefully crafted persona. Michelle thinks American men are a problem. Well, Gutfeld thinks her whole relatable icon shtick is a slick marketing scam, and he's got the mic, the smirk, and the receipts to prove it. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride through the fog machine of political celebrity, where truth gets buried under Instagram filters and $90 candles. Let's set the scene. Picture Greg Gutfeld strutting into the studio like a gunslinger walking into a saloon, ready to take on the untouchable. His target? Michelle Obama, former First Lady, memoir mogul, podcast queen, and the poster child for inspirational capitalism. She's the woman who's been selling hope and empowerment like it's a limited edition athleisure line at Target. But Gutfeld? He's not buying it. Not tonight. Not ever. He's here to peel back the layers of her polished brand and expose the machinery underneath. And trust me, he's got the kind of energy that makes you lean forward in your seat, popcorn in hand, waiting for the next zinger to land. Michelle thinks American men suck, Gutfeld starts, his voice dripping with that signature mix of sarcasm and glee. She's out there warning us that our male rage, is going to turn women into collateral damage if we don't get this election right. Oh, please. Your rage doesn't exist in a vacuum, Michelle, and neither does your brand. The crowd roars, sensing blood in the water. Gutfeld's not just poking at her, he's dismantling the entire narrative she's built. She's telling women to demand better from men, but what she's really demanding is your loyalty to her carefully curated image. And I'm here to rip that glossy packaging right off and toss it into the shredder with a smirk. This is no ordinary TV segment. This is Gutfeld at his peak. Part comedian, part philosopher, part caffeinated raccoon with a grudge. He's not just criticizing Michelle Obama, he's staging a controlled demolition of her untouchable aura. By the time he's done, even her die-hard fans are blinking, wondering if the Queen of Grace has been playing them all along. We have every right to demand better, Michelle said, but Gutfeld's response is a verbal uppercut. Demand better? How about you do better, Michelle? Stop selling us recycled platitudes and start addressing the real world. The music swells in the background, dramatic, pulsing, like the soundtrack to a blockbuster showdown. Gutfeld leans into the mic, eyes glinting. What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing? Oh, that's just Barack running to vote for Trump. The audience loses it, half shocked, half delighted. It's the kind of line that sets X on fire, with hashtags exploding and keyboards overheating. Gutfeld knows it, too. He's not just here to talk, he's here to detonate. Let's rewind for a second and talk about why this matters. Michelle Obama isn't just a person, she's a phenomenon. She's the woman who went from First Lady to global icon with a memoir called Becoming that's less a book and more a lifestyle empire. She's got speaking tours, Netflix deals, a podcast produced by her own company, and a Nike sponsorship that screams, "I'm relatable, but make it corporate." Her brand is built on being the underdog who made it, the voice of the voiceless, the woman who's always overcoming. But Gutfeld's not falling for it. Overcoming what, exactly? He asks, twirling his pen like it's a dagger. You've been on top for 15 years, Michelle. The only thing you're overcoming is the urge to admit you're a franchise. The crowd laughs, but there's a truth in that jab that stings. Michelle's narrative thrives on strategic victimhood. Every interview, every speech, every podcast episode is a masterclass in making you feel like she's just like you, even as she's standing in a designer kitchen the size of a Whole Foods. Her memoir is called Becoming, Gutfeld says, as in becoming a billionaire for talking about how tough it is to live in a mansion when people expect you to smile at them. Ouch. The audience roars again, and you can almost hear her publicist's phone buzzing with crisis alerts. But let's not get it twisted. Gutfeld's not denying her smarts or charisma. She's accomplished, he says, feigning innocence like a cat with feathers in its mouth. She's charming, but let's stop pretending she's Rocky Balboa climbing out of the rubble. She's not an underdog. She's corporate-sponsored Yoda with a stylist. Cue the montage. Clips of her speaking tours, her branded lunchboxes, her podcast where she talks about finding balance while sipping artisanal coffee in a $12,000 Sensi couch. It's inspirational capitalism, folks, wrapped in Instagram captions and sold to you as empowerment. Gutfeld's point isn't just about Michelle. It's about the whole game. The political celebrity industrial complex that turns people into brands and brands into movements. We're being sold a lifestyle, he says, pausing for effect. And guess what? It's not about empowering you. It's about marketing to you. The crowd's eating it up because they know he's right. Every time Michelle talks about rising above or coming together, it sounds like a campaign speech. And maybe that's the plan. She says she doesn't want to run for president, Gutfeld quips, raising an eyebrow. But those speeches, they're campaign warm-ups, just in case America gets nostalgic for soaring rhetoric that says absolutely nothing. The data backs him up. A recent poll shows Michelle Obama trailing Donald Trump in a hypothetical matchup, 47% to 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are old enough to vote. Gutfeld deadpans, and the room erupts. It's a reference to her healthy lunch initiatives, which, fair or not, became a punching bag for critics who saw them as government overreach. But Gutfeld's not just dunking for laughs. He's pointing out the disconnect. Michelle's brand is built on relatability, but her reality, mansions, private chefs, global fame, feels light years away from the people she claims to represent. Now let's talk about that strategic victimhood Gutfeld keeps hammering. Michelle's go-to move is the martyr card. She talks about how hard it was to live in the White House, how she had to be perfect, couldn't be too black, couldn't be too loud. Gutfeld's not having it. Every First Lady had to host dinners and decorate Christmas trees, he says dryly. But none of them landed a post-White House podcast produced by their own husband, starring themselves. That's like writing your own 5-star Yelp review. The audience howls because the truth hurts. Michelle's struggles are real, sure, but they're packaged to sell books, not solve problems. And then there's the podcast. Oh, the podcast. Gutfeld zeroes in like a hawk. Her new show's a flop, he says, grinning like he's about to ruin someone's weekend. First 2 episodes? A few thousand views on YouTube. Half of those are probably her producers. He plays a clip of Michelle spilling family secrets, like how Barack's always late because he's on island time. The crowd chuckles, but Gutfeld's not done. She's not leading a movement, he says. She's leading a marketing campaign, and we're the ones buying it, along with her athleisure collection. Mic drop. But this isn't just about laughs. Gutfeld's peeling back the curtain on something bigger, Michelle's untouchability. You criticize her and you're a sexist, a racist, a monster, he says, his voice low but electric. But if she sells you recycled platitudes with a $90 candle and a motivational playlist, that's called leadership. The audience is half shocked, half thrilled. Nobody talks about Michelle Obama like this on prime time. Nobody. But Gutfeld's not afraid. He's got the nerve to say what others whisper. Her power isn't her charm or her intelligence. It's her bulletproof image, her ability to control perception without ever facing scrutiny. She's the Empress of Optics, Gutfeld declares, leaning back in his chair. When you control how people feel more than what they think, you don't need a ballot. You've got something stronger, unquestioned influence. The room goes quiet for a split second, then explodes in applause, because that's the heart of it. Michelle Obama isn't just a person, she's a brand manager, and we're the product. Her speeches, her books, her podcasts, they're not about changing the world. They're about selling you a version of it where she's the hero, and you're the inspired consumer. Let's dig deeper. because Gutfeld's not just throwing punches for fun. He's deconstructing the entire political celebrity machine. Think about it. Michelle's legacy isn't policy or measurable outcomes. It's vibes, it's emotional resonance, curated playlists, speeches backed by gospel choirs. It feels good, Gutfeld admits. But you know what else feels good? A warm bath. That doesn't mean it's fixing the damn pipes. The crowd loses it again because he's nailed it. Her TED Talks are motivational mad libs. You are powerful, you are enough, you are seen. Great. But what about the small business owner drowning in regulations? What about the single mom working 2 jobs who doesn't have time to reflect on her power? Michelle's brand doesn't reach them, it sells to them. And that's where Gutfeld's genius lies. He's not just mocking Michelle, he's exposing the culture she's helped create. A world where sincerity is replaced with slogans, where making a difference means changing your profile picture. You can't be the voice of the voiceless, he says, when you're speaking from a $12,000 couch with a chef in the next room. Boom, pin drop. The audience feels it because it's true. Michelle's version of struggle, deciding between a TED Talk or a Vogue cover, doesn't resonate with the people grinding it out in the real world. Gutfeld's not done yet. He compares her influence to an iPhone commercial. Sleek, progressive, everyone wants one. But when it glitches, you blame the user, not the system. It's absurd and perfect. She sells empowerment like Starbucks sells identity, he adds. Personalized, pleasant, and wildly overpriced. The crowd's in stitches, but there's a sting in the laughter. Gutfeld's not done yet. He compares her influence to an iPhone commercial. Sleek, progressive, everyone wants one. But when it glitches, you blame the user, not the system. It's absurd and perfect. She sells empowerment like Starbucks sells identity, he adds, personalized, pleasant, and wildly overpriced. The crowd's in stitches, but there's a sting in the laughter. Because Michelle Obama isn't just a person anymore, she's Apple politics. Shiny, expensive, and somehow always immune to criticism. Now, let's talk about that podcast again, because Gutfeld's got a bone to pick. Michelle's been spilling tea about Barack, how he's always late, how he's adjusting to time, like he's still on island time. It's cute, it's relatable, it's calculated. Gutfeld plays the clip, then leans in. She's not sharing family secrets, he says. She's selling you a narrative, and you're buying it, along with her $29.99 hardcover and her motivational playlist. The audience laughs, but you can feel the shift. Gutfeld's not just roasting her, he's dismantling the myth that she's just like us. And then comes the grand finale, the line that sends X into a frenzy. She didn't become folks, she became a franchise. The room cracks up, but Gutfeld's not smiling. He's serious now, just for a moment. The real danger isn't Michelle herself, he says. It's that we keep falling for the same trick. Glossy speeches, emotional buzzwords, vague empowerment. It's all designed to keep you inspired, distracted, and comfortably asleep. That hits different, because it's not just about Michelle. It's about every political figure turned lifestyle influencer. Every brand that sells you hope while the world keeps turning. Gutfeld leans back, hands folded, like a man who's just dropped a truth bomb and knows it. She's not leading a movement, he says. She's leading a marketing campaign, and we're the ones buying it. The applause is deafening, because Greg Gutfeld didn't just criticize Michelle Obama. He uninstalled the myth. He took a flamethrower to the fog machine, the spotlight, the echo chamber, and said what nobody else on prime time would dare. Maybe the most relatable woman in America.